him in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face, talking all Cleveland sports and, of course, food on our semi-famous Fat Boy Thursday. Here are your hosts, Fatty and Big Bry.
What is going on, everybody? I am that fat guy, Jared Fatty Bates. He is Big Bry, and Big Bry, it is game week. The NFL kicks off now. What is going on, big fella?
It's been a long time coming, man. It's feeling like December 22nd, December 23rd when you were a kid, and every day that goes by, you're one day closer.
Yes, we are, and it's getting ready for kickoff. We got kickoff tonight. We got the Ravens and the Chiefs kicking off Thursday night football. Fatty fail from right out of the beginning. Yes, it was. I'm not going to lie, Justin. It was definitely a fatty fail out of the beginning. Was not on my P's and Q's to start out the show, and I definitely dotted the T and crossed the I. But we are here. We are brought to you by Harold Q and Lake Erie APA. Also, City Dogs Cleveland. We do have another long resident tonight from City Dogs. Also, Bry, over Labor Day weekend, they got 40 new dogs in the kennel. The kennel is packed, and we got to get that kennel emptied out, okay? So we've had the Cleveland Fire Department has been down there to help out with volunteers. If you cannot adopt, please volunteer, donate, help. Get those dogs out. Take them for a walk. It's so nice outside. I do have a little personal question I have to ask you later. It's how, you know how I am and how I react to things. And I wonder if I'm going to take it too far with how I react with things. So it's kind of a little family funny thing.
Okay.
Shout out to the Paralympic athletes. They have blind soccer. Shut the hell up. They have blind soccer. Did you know that, Brian?
I didn't, but I think there's a place in Medina where they play, I don't know if it's blind, but it's vision impaired baseball or softball.
Okay.
And like the craziest thing, somebody was explaining to me, I've never seen it, but the ball beeps. And so it beeps like really fast, and so you can hear it as it's coming close to you. And so, yeah, I guess if they can do it, I would think baseball would be more difficult than soccer would. Soccer would be a breeze compared to trying to hit a baseball that you can't see.
Yeah, no shit. Like, what do they use? A tennis racket with that thing? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but
question.
I mean, like,
no, that's a good question. They probably should have larger bats, I would think.
Is it like the old school wiffle ball bats that we played with that were like this big?
Possibly, yeah.
Uh-oh. What's the wife you doing?
Looking for baby monitor.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I had it earlier. It was on battery, so I was supposed to charge it, but I don't think I did.
Okay. Justin said that only the goalkeeper can see. Everybody else has blindfolds on.
Oh, so they're intentionally. Oh, this sounds like an Ocho sport.
That, yeah, it does. But I mean, it would be fun to watch, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bri, do you have any shout outs this week? Because we're trying to get this show in so we can watch the football game tonight because we definitely got some bets going.
Right, yeah. I just got one shout out. I'm going to shout out my nephew, Luke. He had a rough week, so he did get a player of the week in his flag football game. So
nice.
I believe he had a touchdown. It was a big deal. He was all over the place. He's a great defender, but got some action on offense as well. So keep up the good job, bud. Great job.
Is he like his Uncle Big Bry with the tight end catches? The sneaky speed?
He might, that's an aspect of it. You just never know when you're playing flag football at a young age. Like, there's no linemen. Some of these kids that are playing football are linemen. Like me, if I was playing at that age, like, I'm not going to be a great defensive back. I'm not going to be a great quarterback or,
don't sell yourself short, buddy.
Quarterback, I was accurate. I just didn't have an arm strength for it. But yeah. So some of these kids are going to be linemen. Some of them are going to be tight ends. Like, at that age, you're all defensive backs and you're all wide receivers and running backs. So
let me help you out here. Jared Lorenzen, Ron Dane, and that tight end that played at Baylor that they couldn't get the jersey on. You know which guy I'm talking about.
Oh, he was at least 300 pounds. Yeah,
At
God
least.
bless him for sticking it. His whole life, people are like, dude, just defensive tackle. Make the switch already. Like, nope. You got to be stubborn as hell to to say, I'm a tight end, damn it.
Here, put this number 9 on me. Jump up and down. Get it on. It was
182.
It was kind of like the video that your wife put out on TikTok with the, all right, squeeze it in. You got to squeeze it in.
Yeah, white chicks. I'd never seen that before.
Oh my God,
that's pretty good.
If you've never seen that, bro, you have got to see that movie. It is fantastic. Fantastic.
She's a fan. I know that. She's a big fan of
Oh my God, I love that movie. It is just the most mind-numbing movie that it compares to Napoleon Dynamite for me. Like, you could watch it and just laugh.
Oh wow.
Like, it just, and I'm not a huge fan of Napoleon Dynamite, like a huge fan, but anytime White Chicks is on, I have to watch it. It's one of those movies I have to watch.
I'll give it a try next time I see it.
And there we go, off the rails again. The only shout out I got right now is my wife had tonsil taken out on Friday. It has been, Brian, let's just put it this way. It has been a week here in the Bates household. She will probably, obviously she can't do it now. I'm pretty sure if she went back in time and said, hey, do you want to do this or not? I'm pretty sure she would have said, hell no. But it's already done. It's been rough. We're going on, tomorrow would be the 7th day post-surgery, and she still really can't talk or swallow. It's been, but she has been a trooper through it all. She has been sick, everything else on top of it. So I got to give her a shout out. And Bri, I got a little proud dad moment right now, because we just got a call normally we get a call from a teacher, especially our teachers. It's like, shit, what did he do? The math teacher called us the other day and wanted to congratulate us because Alexander's math assessment, he is now officially taking algebra, 8th grade math, bud. 8th grade math.
Hated algebra.
As a 6th grader. As a 6th grader taking 8th grade math. So shout out to him. Charlie is also, and yes, there it is. Shout out to Justin for riding 510 miles on a bike in August. Shut up.
Holy cow.
Yeah, there's no way. No way, Bri.
Is that like 17 a day or something like that?
Hey, let me go ask Alexander real quick, and then
what's 510 divided by 31?
20 something. All right. So we do have Go Kansas City. Here's Eric in tonight. What's going on?
Yeah,
Eric?
absolutely. We're all Chiefs fans here. It looks like it's raining a little bit there. Well, raining a lot.
Good. Poor. Make it a fun game.
Glad I didn't take the over on this one. Let's get out of here. Yeah, get the under. It's probably dropping.
Take the under fast. All right. So we do have trivia tonight is on you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got trivia tonight. Now we do have a longest resident. Now, Bri, this sweet boy has been on our screen before. We need to get this boy adopted. All right. So, Bri, we're going to go to our sounder and we will come back bumping with our trivia. Brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. All right, so our dog from City Dogs Cleveland is one of the longest residents there now, Bri, and he has graced our screen before, and it is Bacardi. Now, Bri, we've had Bacardi on here before, and where did I put I had his pictures. There they are. Look at this sweet boy right here. Sweet, sweet boy. Needs to be adopted, needs to get out of there, all right? Bri, he has been in that kennel for 126 days.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. Jeez. 126. I'm pretty sure Bacardi was one of ours before Christmas. Does that math out it right? No. February.
No. No.
February, March, April.
126. April. What's that, 4 months?
4 months. So that'd be around April-ish, right?
Sure.
Sure, it sounds right. It's a good rough estimate. All right.
Just say 4 months.
Okay, so this boy is a silly, floppy, and total ham for affection. All right. He has a zest for life and is infectious, and you will smile frequently in his company. He is also a total riot when he does his zoomies in the play yard and quite playful with other dogs too. He usually keeps his kennel clean and knows how to sit, though sometimes he gets overzealous and just flops down into a rather just normal sit. McCarty has a huge heart and just a touch of endearing wackiness to be charming. He is estimated to be around 2 years old and 54 pounds. If you please can go adopt McCarty from City Dogs Cleveland, that would be fantastic for us and fantastic for them. As I was telling Bri, 44 dogs came in the kennel over Labor Day weekend. The kennel is full. We got to get these dogs adopted. We got to get them out of there. Help them out there at City Dogs Cleveland. If you cannot adopt, please donate, volunteer, anything you could do to help out City Dogs Cleveland, and we cannot thank them enough. Bri, what is the trivia for tonight?
All right. Believe it or not, we got a football trivia, and it ties into tonight, and it ties into the Kansas City Chiefs and what they're trying to do this year. They're trying to go 3 in a row, three-peat, which has never happened in the Super Bowl era. But it's come close a couple times. So one time was the Cowboys in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
The other time, which they won 3 out of 4. The other time was the most recent time, New England did it at the start of the 2000s, 02 to 05 or something. So New England won 3 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the team that won the Super Bowl to break up their run.
Oh, I think I know this one.
Okay.
I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think.
Not the team that beat New England, but the team that won the Super Bowl the year that New England did not win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Now that threw me for a loop.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Makes sense. I think so. Let's see here. Eric said he did a parlay for a chance for 400 tonight. We will get into some betting here a little bit later in our top 3. I see you can't give me hints like that. I didn't see it, Bryce, so I'm not going to say it. All right, Bryce. No, we're all right. We're good. I didn't see it.
Keep it on the up and up.
Always keeping it on the up and up. All right. Let's get into now that Chris is here, our Cleveland headlines. And let's get to matchups this week for our Illegal Ham to the Face Fantasy Football League. All right, first up, we have the matchups for your Legal Ham to the Face Fantasy Football League Week 1. Getting ready to go. You have Runner Warner versus My Knicks in a Box. The Portage County Prostitutes against Hunky Cat. Team Big Rod versus Harold Keel. Always next year. And Watson, the Ryan Leaf of Trades. Team Big Meat and Dog Pound and Phil McCracken versus Big Bri. Those are your week matchups this week. Stay tuned next week for the results. I did have to say Justin's new team name. It was actually pretty funny.
Well, yeah. It's become very. Everybody's calling this the worst trade of all time, which
I know.
I don't agree, and it's not because I still have faith in Watson. It's because you remember the Trey Lance trade. They got absolutely nothing out of Trey Lance.
That is true.
So how is this worse than that? And then the other trade I thought it was Brett Favre trade. They traded away a Hall of Famer, top 5 quarterback, and got diddly poo for it. So to me, those two trades are worse than what we got here. I mean, without really going too much into depth, I know the Herschel Walker trade was a big one too, but it's just off the top of my head, especially the Trey Lance trade. But nobody brings it up because they found Brock Purdy. So.
So we got to have some fun next week. Maybe that should be our top 3 next week.
I just gave you my top 3.
that can't be all your top three. You said off the top of your head. You can dig in deeper for a top three, right?
Oh, I don't know. Those are
All
three pretty bad ones. I mean, you do some research. It doesn't have to be a top three. You think
Okay.
about it, and
I'll
you
do some
just
research.
just give us your three.
Daddy
And
will do some
I'll
research.
think about it more. If I think of any others, I'll bring them up.
All right, so quickly we'll hit on the Guardians. The Guardians now magic number I think is 20. They did take 2 of 3 against Kansas City, who is reeling. Kind of nice seeing people hit the ball, even though Josh Naylor is dinged up again. Really concerned about Stephen Kwan batting way under 300 now. It's like 291. He has hit a slump of all slumps.
Holy cow!
I mean, at one
That's
point in
crazy.
time, we actually talked on this show if he could keep flirting with 400. And Bry, he is. It hasn't been pretty, but right now they're holding in there. They're going to be a playoff team. All right, I'm pretty confident they'll be a playoff team. Like I'm 95% confident they're going to be a playoff team. So I don't know if they're going to get the number 1 overall seed or how it's going. The pitching past few starts have been actually pretty good. They had 4 consecutive really good starts, and then this past one lightly kind of gave up some. So as of right now, guys, keep an eye on the Guardians. We're making the push for October. So, Bri, do you have anything you want to talk about with the Guardians?
Yeah, it's just it's kind of, I don't want to say business as usual, but yeah, it's nice to see them bounce back, and this is kind of what we talk about when we talk about 162 games. You're going to have weeks where you think there's no way this team can continue on this pace, and there's no chance they can make the playoffs. They're one of the worst teams. And then they start getting their momentum back, and you're like, okay, all right, yeah, they are pretty good. There's a reason why they're 20-some games above 500. So, and we also talked about the Royals having a difficult September schedule. So if I had to guess right now, they've really kind of fallen off. I didn't expect them to be this bad.
Yeah, they hit their weak slump like we hit our weak slump. They lost like 7 in a row after they came into our house and kind of owned us a little bit. They lost 7 in a row, and they're kind of on the outside looking in. I still think they might make the playoffs, but just think about this. Like we talked about at the beginning, like maybe the Guardians getting like 82 wins, 83 wins. Right now, Bri, there's 3 teams in the AL Central that might make the playoffs.
Just like the NFC or the AFC North.
I know, right?
Really, freaking ridiculous. But hey, I feel, I'm with you. I feel comfortable that they'll at least make the playoffs now. Whether that's for sure should be the division as it's looking now, unless we really bottom out. But for sure a wild card. And at this point, you got to start. Maybe not this week, next week, but before too long, you got to start looking at what the playoff rotation is going to be, and just how confident you feel in some of these guys. Most of them are untested really in the playoffs, and it's going to be a different atmosphere for them.
Yeah, I think the only one that's been tested is Alex Cobb. But
Cobb for sure, right?
Yes,
but he's a shell of himself.
Well, yeah, but he pitched a really good last. Once they took the finger off, Bri, as soon as you get rid of that lady finger, a lot of things happen.
I told you I'm a fan, and I don't know if I'm getting caught up in the past, but I remember how good he's been with the Tampa Bay Rays, and I just hope that he can regain that at least, because he doesn't have many miles on his arm, right? This year he hasn't been pitching much.
6 innings, Bri. That's all we need. 6 innings. Get it to the 7th, 8th,
5
and 9th.
innings. With this
with our way our bullpen's been, it's been. And by the way, Clase is now the leader in saves for your Cleveland Guardians. All right, I think it's like 150 something or whatever. So just think about that. He's only 25, 26. RA number 1 in saves with your Cleveland Guardians all time. His ERA is still at like 0.7. Like he is on a phenomenal tear, and I know they probably won't give him the Cy Young, Bri, but damn, he has got to have a hard conversation about being in the Cy Young race.
Did he set the record for Indians Guardians saves in a year yet?
I don't know if he's done that yet. I think
Cody
Allen had that one for like the year, but like he was, I just think Cody Allen was our top save. and it felt like Cody Allen was here for like 13 years.
We've had some good ones, man. I mean,
Well, it's true,
Jose
because they
Mesa,
they really didn't
Wickman,
start.
everyone talks about. Joe Borowski. My dad used to be a big Borowski
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
Remember?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he was pretty good for a couple of years.
Hey, you remember Kerry Wood for a couple years?
Was he our closer?
I think so.
Was he really? Wow. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I remember we had him, but I can't
Yeah,
remember
I
what
think they
role
brought
he
him
had.
in to be a closer, and it just did not work out great.
Oh, it was bad. Other
Hey,
side.
don't forget about Rocker. We did have Rocker for a little bit.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure. I've always said like having a good closer is like having a good place kicker in football. Like,
Oh yeah,
if you're not a very good team, if you're not a very good team, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Like if the Guardians could never get a lead, what does it matter how good Clase is? You know, if Justin Tucker was on the Carolina Panthers, nobody really cares how good he is. You're still losing games 27-9 or something like that. So yeah, it's kind of like it's a luxury to have. You know,
Right.
only the good teams really need one.
Bry, you're bringing up old wounds right there with Phil Dawson. We felt
Right.
it for years with
Sure.
Phil,
Oh yeah,
Phil
Phil Dawson was on the Patriots or something like that. If he was Adam Vinatieri, he'd be in the Hall of Fame probably.
He was Adam Vinatieri. What the hell are we talking about?
Well, I'm just saying, like if he's kicking meaningful kicks in the playoffs
That's
and
true.
stuff.
That's true. All right, Bry, it is NFL game week, and we have a barn burner at 425 here at the new Huntington Bank Field here in Cleveland, Ohio. The Dallas Cowboys are taking on your Cleveland Brownies at 425 with Tom Brady on the call. Bry, how pumped are you right now?
It's a contained excitement. I feel like for as long as like I just get amped up, and I used to sometimes like when I played football, I would just get so jacked up. I get so excited. I get so crazy that I'd almost like overdo it. So it seems like it's a slow build, but when the time kickoff comes on Sunday, and maybe because it's a 4:25 game and I'll have to wait a long time for it, that'll really, you know, I'll be able to get my nap in, you know, hopefully the hangover from Sunday night or Saturday night will be gone and I'll just be ready to go. But yeah, I can't wait. You wait for so long and then it's here and gone. So before you know it, it's going to be halftime. And then it'll be over, and then we'll just be reacting to it for a week. So, God, I pray that they have a good showing, because if they don't, next week is going to be tough. I mean, I won't be able to listen to the radio.
Bry, I understand that, and
It'll be the world. The sky is falling. The Browns may never win a game all year. They'll be 4-13 if they're lucky. If we lose, and it's like I've been listening to it all off season. I don't know if I could take it for another week. So I just hope that they do well. I think they will.
I think they'll do okay, Bry. There's still going to be hiccups. It's the first game. Every first game in NFL is like there is some weird shit that goes on in the first game. And speaking of weird shit going on in the first game, Bry, why don't we just take one of these down real quick, because looks like Jack Conklin is going to be our starting left tackle on Sunday afternoon.
It could be a good thing, though. I mean, we can't say that it's definitely a bad thing. I mean, he's a better tackle than Jed Wills is. But it gets clouded because of all the injuries he's dealt with over the last few years. And he's switching positions, obviously.
I was going to say, Brian, it's been 7 years since he's played left tackle.
Sure. And how big of that adjustment, how big the steps are between right tackle and left tackle, nobody really knows. Unless he's actually made that transition in the National Football League, nobody knows. Even Jed Wills, I mean, he never played right tackle in the pros, but he played at a high level at Alabama. So maybe he can relate to that a little bit.
All right, Brian, you said you had some questions for me for this year and things coming up. So let's fire them off, bud.
Okay. So the first one is, I don't think we've touched on this. We touched on it last year, and I think we were in agreement about who it was. What was in your mind, what's the Browns' best acquisition of the offseason?
Oh, this year?
This offseason. Yep.
This offseason.
The best guy, the best improvement that they picked up this offseason. Because there weren't a ton, really.
No, there
No
really
first round
wasn't.
pick.
There really wasn't a ton. Brian, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I only say this because I know how great he was when he played at Alabama. I think getting Jerry Jeudy in here away from the Denver Broncos, because I think Denver just didn't know how to use him, especially with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson really hasn't had it's weird to me. It's weird to me, but I think Jerry Jeudy is going to have a pretty good year. I think that is kind of the one that sticks out in my mind right out of the gate. I mean, what about you? What do you think the best acquisition was?
I'm thinking kind of along the lines. I agree with Judy that I think, if he can be what the Browns want him to be, then definitely he will be the biggest acquisition of the offseason. But along the lines is what we talked about last year. I don't know if you remember last year, we were kind of in agreement that Jim Schwartz was the biggest acquisition of the offseason.
You're going to go Ken Dorsey?
I'm going Ken Dorsey. Yeah, I'm optimistic.
Wow, okay.
I think his offense, I think even if he's not calling the plays, he just brings in a different thought process when thinking about offense and how to manage a scrambling, a mobile quarterback. And he's proven it in his past. And something maybe Kevin Stefanski just doesn't know how to deal with. And maybe he does, and I'm just a bonehead. But for me as a fan who doesn't know any better, I feel better knowing that Ken Dorsey is making the calls.
Well, okay,
or not calling the plays, but has a say in the room, and can kind of see things from a different perspective than Alex Van Pelt did.
Well, okay, now that we've done the acquisition, Brian, what's your biggest question mark right now with the team? Now we got
it's Deshaun Watson, but yeah, not taking the low hanging fruit. Honestly, to me, it's how the defense is going to respond to last year. They kind of arrived, and I even heard Denzel Ward say in an interview this past week about how, we were the best defense in the NFL last year. And, it kind of made me scratch my head a little bit like, maybe in a couple statistics you were, but as fans, we all know how we just can't explain how you're so good at home, but you're so terrible on the road. So does the Browns defense look at it like, hey, we've arrived, we're great, we're so good, we have all these Pro Bowlers, or do they look at it as, hey, we need to get better? What we did on the road is embarrassing, and there's no excuse for it. So, yes, we need to help this team because I feel like the offense is kind of like, they're not going to be the best in the league. They're not going to be the worst in the league. They're just kind of in the middle there. In the running game, Jerome Ford is just kind of he is what he is. He's just kind of like an average backup, and until we get Nick Chubb back, that'll be a question. But I don't know if there's that variation. Whereas with the defense, they should be one of the best. They should be top 3 defense in the league. But last year, just for whatever reason, on the road, it was a huge question mark. So until they prove me that they're taking it seriously, that's going to be a question mark in my head too.
Yeah, like for me, Bri, it's the significance of Bill Callahan. We got a new offensive line coach in here. Callahan ran the running game plays. He helped out with all the schemes of that, stuff like that, with the new offensive line coach, and especially with this offensive line that is kind of, Brian, we're still kind of tattered and torn right now. Like you said before, like your biggest concern was the tackles, because interior we feel okay with Teller, Batonio, and Posich. It's the outside of that we still have some question marks, and that's the one thing that concerns me the most right now is if this offensive line could actually hold up, right? Because, man, we've been boasting that we've had the greatest offensive line here in Cleveland in forever. Like, this is a great offensive line. We can do whatever we want. Well, Brian, they're older now. They're injured. and it's how they're going to respond when they're injured. Like I said, Jeb Wills still not 100% ready to go. He said he might play this week. They're going to put Jack Conklin there at left tackle along with a couple other people. You got Hudson and Dwan Jones on the right side. Dwan Jones is still nicked up from his surgery, so he's not, I would say, 100%. And that means you're going to lead on Joel Batonio, who is in his 11th year, Wyatt Teller, who we went from having more strength in our offensive line to now having more questions than strength.
Yeah, and all the pieces are the same, but yeah, you're right. With Bill Callahan leaving, we've heard guys from DeJuan Jones to Wyatt Teller talk about how hard Bill Callahan was on them, and even when they thought they didn't need to be pushed that hard, he was pushing them, and he got the most out of them. So Andy Dickerson, I don't know if you've seen pictures of him or video of him, but he looks like he should be running a Sasquatch group.
Whoa.
Or an alien finding group, or like he's kind of out there a little bit.
Allegedly.
I mean, not to judge not to judge a book by its cover too much, but a lot of times that's what people do.
Yeah.
So I think he will come under fire if we're healthy and we're just not performing like we did last year. I think, yeah, people are going to be looking to him, and it's the same thing with Jed Wills stepping in for Joe Thomas. You take over for a legend that the people in the city loved, and if production drops a little bit, you're going to be looking to him like, well, what's going on? Why can't you get the same production out of this group that Bill Callahan did? So yeah,
that's why
we'll see. And people are going to jump to conclusions after the first week if we're going against the damn good pass rush here, so
especially with Mike,
it's not going to be great. Oh yeah, maybe the best in the league. Second to Myles Garrett.
Of course. Brett, you have another question queued up, and fire ready to go?
I do. The next question is, and I started to write some stuff down here. So, in your mind, are the Browns a better team right now than they were at this time last year?
That's a good one, Brian. I'm going to say no on that one.
Okay.
Only because I think we are still kind of injured at this point in time. I think last year's team, if it was healthy, but we still got Denzel Ward, 5th concussion, Brian. We've talked about it. I think last year's team was equally as talented, but I think last year's team was better off than this year's team. I for some odd reason, I don't know if it was because of only having one tight end now with David Njoku and like a mixed mosh behind us. I mean, you got to think about last year we had Nick Chubb starting out. We're not going to have Nick Chubb until like the 5th or 6th week, possibly, which is great for the team, though. I do have to say that's great for the team because that means he has no wear and tear for the first 5 or 6 weeks, and he should be ready to go when he comes back.
Sure.
But Brian, it's a tough question, but I really do think last year's team is better off than what we got this year.
Yeah, and with Nick Chubb, honestly, we shouldn't, if we're as good as we think we are, we shouldn't need him much in the first 4 games or however many he's out because our schedule's a little bit easier. So, yeah, you're right. It could be nice to get him back. Now he's not going to have the stats for the season that he did a couple years ago, but just as far as a freshness, and they'll take it easy with him to start out. I said, yeah, I think we are a better team than we were last year. And I didn't completely fill it out, but yeah, correct. The one con that I had was no Nick Chubb. Yeah. And the uncertainty behind him. But yeah, this time last year we didn't know what we had in DeJuan Jones, and we found something in him. I also have JOK. I mean, if you forget, JOK was kind of a question mark heading into last year.
That is true.
And now he's viewed as a top 10, maybe some people top 5 linebacker. So
you also got to factor in Grant Delpit too. was a question
Grant
mark
Delpit took
also.
another step. So yeah, so I think just
Okay.
a lot of, even though a lot of guys are older, I feel like we were a young team heading into last year, and I feel like guys have taken steps forward. David Njoku at the end of last
Yes.
year,
Oh, God,
you
yeah.
hope that he can continue that. Picking up Jerry Judy, there weren't a ton of acquisitions, there weren't a ton of free agent signings and draft picks that we're really going to be counting on this year. But yeah, those three guys I kind of point to, and then I also just think, at this time we did have some question marks last year about Jim Schwartz. We were all hopeful that he was going to come in and turn the defense around, but now we've seen it, and we need to see it more consistently. But yeah, I feel like there's less questions on defense. Like, we're good to go. I do have maybe one concern, maybe not for season long, but for this week. I was looking at the injury report a little earlier, and our top three defensive tackles are all limited practice this week. So that's maybe causing me a little bit of concern with Tomlinson and with Jefferson and with Hurst.
Is it because they're veterans that are kind of letting them kind of ease into the season?
Could be. Yep. Could be. Yeah, it could be making a bigger deal about it than anything else. But yeah, I was just looking at maybe they're getting the veteran days off. I don't think Tomlinson's really done much of anything this camp, and maybe he doesn't need to, like you said, because he's a veteran. Same with Hurst, but I didn't really know about Hurst's injury and Jefferson, so yeah, it could be veteran days off. I don't know how to react to it, so that was something that kind of drew my attention a little bit today. But again, we don't know. We're not in that building. It could be absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Now, Brian, with the Cowboys coming into town, right?
I got one more for you here.
I'm sorry.
Before we get to the Cowboys. No, it's good. And we can go quick. It's basically a kind of like, what's your prediction for this season? Maybe like not regular season. How does this season finish out? So, almost asking for your playoff predictions. And if you don't think the Browns get to the playoffs, then that's fine. But I'll go through a scenario that I kind of predict. Everyone has predictions, but predict at the end of the year. So how do you see this season finishing for the Browns?
Okay, so Brian, expectations for the season. I'm going to start out with that.
Okay.
Expectations for this season should be AFC Championship game. It should be. Now, granted, the AFC is loaded. I get that. But we have a team in place, especially with the defense in place. If everybody plays up to par, we should be in the running for an AFC Championship game. Okay. Bad thing is with the way that injuries are, everything else, Brian, my gut says, and we do have a very, very, very tough conference with the AFC North. I'm predicting the Browns to get in the wild card and then see where it goes from there. And this is
holding your feet to the fire. Give me, if you don't think they make it to the AFC Championship, where do they exit out? First round, second round?
I think they exit out in the wild card round.
First round. Okay.
And that's just my feet to the fire. That's how I feel about this team. And it's nothing against this team, Brian. It's just with the injury history in the NFL and what we went through last year with starting 5 quarterbacks last year, that's where it kind of concerns me is everybody going to stay healthy? If everybody stays healthy, then I can see us going to the AFC Championship game. I think we have that potential. But being an NFL fan and knowing that somebody's going to be injured at some point in time and it's going to be a big blow to us, I see us at the AFC wildcard game.
Okay, sure.
What about you? What about you, bud?
Similar. Let me speak to the expectations first. I think you have very high expectations for a team that hasn't been to the AFC Championship game in 30, 40. Like, I think like the Ravens, the Ravens' expectations are Super Bowl. I think the Bengals, I think the Bills, like teams that right now you would put ahead of the Browns. Like, there's only 2 people that can go to the AFC Championship game. So right now, you wouldn't say the Browns are the second best team in the AFC.
No, but I'm
guessing.
saying they could be a team to make it to the AFC
They
Championship.
could be. I agree with you. I think they
there
could
is
be, but
5
that's not
or 6 teams
expectation.
they can do. Okay. Then what are your real expectations for the Browns then? Because this is where it gets me.
Sure.
Because
My
we did
expectations.
all these moves and everything else. That should be the next step. We've been to the playoffs. We have 2-time Coach of the Year. We have all this talent on defense. We have all this. Why is your expectations not up at the AFC Championship level?
Because I think you're skipping a step, and that step would be the divisional round. And so, much like with the Cavs, hey, we got to get to the playoffs. Okay, we made it to the playoffs. Got to get past the first round. Okay, got past the first round. Got to get past the second. So, like, my expectations would be second round of the playoffs. I mean, if we get further than that, great. If we bow out before that, I'll be a little disappointed. But also, it just depends on the luck of the draw, really. And that's why, thinking back to the Kansas City, when Baker had us in the playoffs and we played Kansas City and lost to them, like, Mahomes was out for the entire second half. That's your opportunity. You have to strike. And we let an opportunity fall by the wayside. Last year, I know we had Joe Flacco. We had a guy off his couch, 5th round. We were projected to win that game. That was an opportunity. We're playing against a young roster in Houston, and we let an opportunity fall by the wayside. So my expectations are get to the playoffs, win your first playoff game, and then, everything after that is gravy. So that's my expectations. That's my prediction. I think we make it to the divisional round. If you ask me right now, I'd say we got three AFC North teams and the Chiefs making it to the Final Four in the AFC, and then I got Baltimore and Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game. Baltimore in the Super Bowl and losing to San Francisco. So. But I think that would be a step in the right direction. I mean, I would feel good about if we can win a playoff game this year. Last year expectations were to get to the playoffs. We did
we've
that.
Already won a playoff game though, Bri.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. I mean, it seems like a long time ago.
But all the people were here with the exception of one.
No. What was our wide receiver core back then? OBJ, Landry.
Yeah.
JOK wasn't here.
Njoku was here. The offensive line was here. You can't even say Delpit because Delpit didn't even show up until last year.
So your expectations for the last 4 years have been AFC Championship game.
They should be.
Or the last 5 years.
That's what we traded for. Is it not?
Yeah.
We traded
for. You got to walk before you crawl. Deshaun has never taken this team to the AFC or to the playoffs though before.
Okay, and I understand that, but if everybody was healthy last year playing that Houston Texans game, would they beat the Houston Texans with a healthy team that we had?
Absolutely.
So that means we're already in the second round, Bri. So that's where you want to be.
We think. I don't know. The defense was healthy and they got embarrassed.
The defense was not healthy. If you want to run that back, because remember we had safeties playing that shouldn't have been playing.
Oh, okay.
That got burnt like crazy.
Yeah.
We had Myles Garrett that was dinged up. We had, I'm pretty sure, Zadarius Smith didn't play that game. So we had people banged up on both sides. I'm just saying, if everything works out perfect, I think they can be an AFC Championship team. If everything works
I agree
out perfect,
with you.
But nothing worked out perfect.
Well, maybe it's semantics, but you're saying expectations. You're saying you think they could be. I think they could be, but those aren't my expectations. Because
they should
in order for your
expectations, though.
Well,
because
should
if
be
they're not your
what they are.
But if they're not your expectations, then why are we even taking the steps then? Why don't we just go, okay, we'll get in the wild card again. And, if we make it past the wild card and get into the divisional, okay, well, if we lose that, then it's okay. We got to the playoffs again for another year. Like,
win a playoff game is my expectation. We've
already won a playoff game.
Take a step. That was 5 years ago. So we went to the AFC Championship game in the 80s. So should my expectations be Super Bowl?
Should be. Why not?
Things change in the NFL
Bernie
a lot
quicker. In a
quicker.
wheelchair. Let's do this.
things change in the NFL. You can't rest on your laurels from 5 years ago. You have to build it up, from year to year. You can't go back like, well, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we did this, so we got to do better than we did 4 years ago. No, you look at what you did last year.
Oh, you're killing me with this.
You got a long memory. Like the Cavs expectation should be NBA Finals because they got there when LeBron was here.
When they had a team last year, we talked about it. Did we not?
That was never my expectation for them to get the NBA Finals.
But you expected them to be the Eastern Conference Finals, did you not?
No.
So you had no expectations.
No, I said all year long that we were the 4th or 5th best team in the NBA or in the Eastern Conference. Just like I'm saying now, the Browns are probably the 4th or 5th best team in the AFC. Now, can they, it's easier to win one game than it is a 7-game series. So I think they can. They've proven they can beat the Bengals. They can beat the Ravens. But right now, those teams are ahead of us.
All right. I'm going to let you have this one.
No, you're allowed to have your. I feel like a lot of people, and not to get into the Deshaun Watson conversation again, like we do every single
I didn't bring
time
up this
we
time.
talk. I feel like some people who want to see Deshaun, not that you want to see Deshaun fail, I feel like the people who really are against Deshaun set these unrealistic expectations to where when he falls short, they can say, oh, I told you so. Like, oh, yeah, if Deshaun throws 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and no picks, yeah, I'll be a fan. I mean, there's, a couple quarterbacks every week that do that. It would be nice if he could, but yeah, no, I'm where I am with my expectations. I think some people set them so high to where when they fall short, they can say, see, I told you so. They suck. They got to do something. And no, it's just, hey, be better than you were last year.
So now that we're talking about expectations, what are your expectations for this game coming up on Sunday, Bri?
Good transition, sir.
Bang, bang, bang. I've been working on it, Monty.
You've just been waiting for the
I've been Bob Uecker right there.
Man, it's difficult to call this one. I try to have faith in Kevin Stefanski and what he's done the last 2 years, and to where, hey, we weren't sure if they were going to be ready for the first game, and then they come out, like I said last week, like gangbusters, and they surprise you. And so, with this game being at home, I expect a strong showing. Micah Parsons scares me a lot. I think the defense is going to hold their own. You have to neutralize the Cowboys pass rush. I think that's maybe the number one key to the game for me. So that gives me some pause because we don't have Nick Chubb, so we're not going to be able to run the ball for 5-6 yards a carry. So we're going to have to do our work in the passing game. And with Deshaun seeing live bullets for the first time since November of last year or October, it's going to be about how we can scheme up getting him to feel comfortable, because we can't just throw a bunch of short passes, because eventually Dallas has an opportunistic defense. They're going to start jumping those short routes if you just try to get the ball out of his hands real quick. So it's really going to be on the line and how they play. And if they're playing well, then Deshaun's going to feel comfortable, and I think he'll be able to let it loose a little bit. I to be honest, I do worry about the fans, and because I know that it may be a vocal minority. There's a vocal minority just waiting to rip his head off as soon as he screws up a little bit. So, especially once you get a few beers in you, your friends start egging you on. We all know how that goes. So how's he going to deal with it? I think the fans ruined Cade York last year. I think he was so far in his head because he was so worried about everyone just raining down booze on him, and everyone's going to come back with me. They're paid professionals, and they should be stronger, have thicker skin than that. But to me, you're not helping your team. If you're booing your own team, you're not helping them. So
you're telling me you've never booed your own team? Not one time in your life?
No, I'm sure I did. but
Okay.
it's a very small person. I'm not the guy who's going to boo our own team. When you're 0-16 or something like
Well,
that.
yeah, you're definitely
Yeah, I mean, what
you're
are you
just
going to do?
showing up with a bag
You
on
got
your
to
head
show
at that
your
point in time.
displeasure sometime. But yeah, I think Deshaun's his state of mind is very important to this team, and if he gets rattled by his own crowd and he's afraid to throw an interception or to throw an incompletion or something like that, I think that's bad for the team. So I think that's why I try to support him here. I know a lot of people think otherwise, but I'm trying. I want to get the absolute best out of every single Browns player, and I don't think by booing you're going to achieve that.
All right, give me a score predict for the game on Sunday.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, we got to keep track. Are you keeping track of these?
No, I
scores?
know. Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on my bourbon and pizza from last year.
Well, we still got to meet up again, buddy. Last time I saw you, I bought you a drink and got you diapers.
Oh, you've seen me plenty of times since then.
I can't give you bourbon at work, buddy. They frown on that stuff.
Sure you can. It doesn't mean I have to drink it there.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Breakfast pizza, baby.
That's
so we'll do our picks, and we'll do our picks against the spread. Man, the whole day I was like, I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I can't set myself up for a disappointment again, but I get these couple bush lights in me, and I'm like, there's no way. The Browns got it. So here we go. Browns 23.
Ooh.
Cowboys 17. So Browns cover the spread.
Browns cover. It's 2.5 points, right?
Yep.
Last I saw.
That's what I saw too. Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you right now, Bri. Like I said, the pass rush for the Cowboys scares the shit out of me, especially with how banged up our offensive line is. I do predict, Bri, at least 5 tight end screens. I'm a huge fan of tight end screens.
Oh, that's right.
I am going to go out on a limb and say Njoku at least gets 4 of them, and then there's one that's dropped at some point in time. So I'm going to go with tight end screens, at least 5 of them. Brian, I'm going to go Browns 24.
Okay.
I'm going to go Cowboys 21 and have them cover.
All righty. Yep, that would be a cover. Sweet. Yeah, I think the defense is going to be ready for this. I would stick Denzel Ward and MJ Emerson can guard CeeDee Lamb. He's a bigger receiver, so stick our bigger quarter on him. And I like the matchups. I think Myles Garrett is going to be able to get to Dak and make him feel uncomfortable. They got some rookies on their offensive line, so I think as long as we're healthy and we're good to go, I like how our defense is going to play. The offense just got to put up 20 points, I think.
All right, so quickly, Bri, we are going to get into our Fat Boy Thursday. We're going to do a quick Fat Boy Thursday with some stuff from Dallas. We're talking Dallas food.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Thursday.
Sorry, I get into that music. It's almost like the headlines music, Bri. So we're talking a little Dallas food, which Texas is known for steaks and brisket and everything else. Bri, I brought up something to you earlier that I found out. Did you know that Dallas made the first ever frozen margarita machine?
I guess I'm not surprised, but it sounds awesome. Probably one of the best things they've ever given us: barbecue and frozen margaritas.
Well, and don't forget carnival food, bud. The biggest fair
that's right. You did
in
tell
the
me
United States is there in Texas, and they have come up with some masterpieces when it comes to carnival food. Corn dog was invented there, right?
Love that.
Can't go wrong with corn dog. Also, they're the ones that came up with the deep fried butter. Let's just throw in the deep fried Oreos. Pretty much
Deep
anything.
fried butter. Do
Oh,
people
yeah.
really eat deep fried? People eat deep fried butter?
I have no clue. I've seen it. I've never had it, Brian. I am a fat
I
guy.
can't
I've
even
never
imagine
had deep
that's
fried butter.
good. Like, I don't
Well,
care how fat you are. Like, that doesn't even sound good.
Hey, I know deep fried Oreos are delicious.
Well, that I can probably get behind. Have you had them?
Oh God, yes, I've had them. They do a little
Okay.
powdered sugar on top. Oh yeah, it's
Now,
definitely.
now are the Oreos soft? Like when you dunk them in milk?
You don't even dunk them in
Are they
milk,
hard?
dude.
No, I'm saying are they harder? Like when you bite into them, or it's like a
No, because
hard Oreo, or does that soften?
They soften a little bit, but you still get like a little bit of bite to them. But the ones that I had, they were served with a side of like chocolate drizzle syrup on the side,
Mhm.
the Hershey syrup, and you just dunk it in there and just go to town. But yeah, deep fried Oreos was the bomb. Now, Brian, if you went to, let's say you go to Dallas, what do you go? Obviously, brisket. You're going to get the brisket down there, right? Because that's what Dallas is known for.
I'm a big fan of the brisket. Sure, absolutely. I don't know if they're ribs, people, or if that's more Austin.
Okay.
But I mean, Austin, Dallas are relatively close. And then you bring up fair food. I think of like deep fried cheese, basically like one giant mozzarella stick. Sounds really good to me. I'm a huge fan of corn dogs, so that would be the go-to. But then after that, trying something that maybe I've never had, even though, yeah, mozzarella stick I've had before. But yeah, there's like TV shows that they follow people around at the Dallas County Fair and or the
Carnival
Texas
foods.
Fair for the whole
Yeah, it's
week.
on,
Is that what's it called?
I think it's called Carnival Foods. It's on Food Network. But they go
Okay.
down there and they show all like the new stuff that happened that people are coming up with
Crazy.
down there. And like
Right.
somebody did like deep fried lemonade. Who the hell does deep fried lemonade, Brian?
How is that even possible?
I don't
I
know.
mean, you
Brian, I
freeze
don't
it,
know.
but you would think eventually that's
Craig's
wild.
here says go Chiefs tonight. Yeah,
Sure.
like the stuff that they deep fry. I'm like, Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. If they deep fry my cell phone, I'm probably going to take a bite out of it.
You gotta try it, right?
I mean, you got to try it, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine many things that if you deep fry it, I wouldn't at least try, unless it's just a food that I didn't like to begin with. Deep
Like
fried
butter?
sushi or something.
Like butter.
Yeah, I guess I'd try it. If everyone's raving about it, I would try it.
There it is.
But I'm not gonna finish it probably.
Well, you take at least a bite, right?
That's what I'm saying, right? If everyone's telling
Now-
me how great it is, yeah, I'd probably try it.
Now, Brian, are you a elephant ear or funnel cakes?
Oh, good question. Actually, I am 100% an elephant ear guy because
Same here, man.
the Cuyahoga County Fair, when I was, probably in elementary school, I ate a funnel cake. And then I went on the thing that kind of looks like a Ferris wheel, but you're in the cages and the cages
That thing
spin.
is evil.
So I got sick on that right after I ate a funnel cake. So that kind of ruined funnel cakes for me. So elephant ear for sure.
Yeah, I'm down with an elephant ear. Like I finally got to show my kids what an elephant ear was. They're like, "Are you serious, Dad?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." And I even gave them like the cinnamon sugar sprinkle on top of it and everything, powdered sugar.
Do you dip it in anything? I can't remember. It's been so long since I had an elephant. Do they give you caramel or something?
They do, but I don't because they do. So the ones that I always get, they do like a coating of cinnamon sugar, and then they do some powdered sugar on top of it. So it's kind of just like peel and eat. So that's how I've always eaten them. So I do have, Brian, I talked to Gab Goody last night, and she has a take on something that I'm going to bring up to you probably next week.
Okay.
She's not a fan of eggs whatsoever. Like any kind of egg. Any kind of egg. And I asked her if it was like a texture thing. She goes, "No, I just don't like eggs." I'm like,
I can listen to that because
And
there's
I
certain
kinda
eggs that I don't like.
but then she brought up the eggs, you get the scrambled eggs and fried rice. And she goes, "I'm okay with that if it's mixed with something, but I can't do." I'm like, all right, now we got to have a conversation about it. So I was like, it was a food take that kind of took me off because a lot of people like in the United States love eggs. Like that's kind of like your go-to for breakfast. It's eggs, bacon, or sausage, and every now and then pancakes or waffles or whatever. But like eggs are like a staple here in the United States, and to have somebody that doesn't like eggs, kind of just threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to, we can talk about it next week. I'll give my egg takes.
We will definitely do that next week. Brian, let's get
Billowing
into it.
over with egg takes here.
Oh, I can
Yes,
see you.
top three.
Top
You
three.
got
Let's
it.
do it. Brian, I'm going to let you go first with your top three tonight
Okay.
because I got a doozy for you here at the back end. So give me your top three NFL bets that you like this year.
Sure. Yep. I was looking at the over-unders here for all the different teams. And of course I love the over-under for the Browns. 8.5 is just, I think 8 is their floor. So as long as they win one more than that, I think they got that covered. And everyone's so down on the Browns. But I left them out of it because I figured that would be predictable. So my top three bets for over-unders. Number 3, I have New England under 4.5.
4.5 wins.
I know. I was kind of like on the fence, but then I heard somebody was very adamant about somebody in the know was very adamant about their roster is terrible and they might only win 2 games this year. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, and all that depends on Drake May. If Drake May comes in and he lights it up, they could easily win 5 or 6. But yeah, so New England 3. I got Chicago at 2. I got 9.5, and I'm taking the under on them. They weren't that good last year. Everyone's buying into the Caleb Williams hype and their wide receiver hype. And, you still need an offensive line. You still need a defense. They're still playing Green Bay twice a year. They're still playing Detroit twice a year. So yeah, for them to get to 10 wins, I think would be a pretty big jump for them. So they're my number 2, and then my number 1, and it could be maybe a technicality. But the Jets, what I saw them at is 10.5. I don't think they get to 11 wins. Yeah, I'm taking the under for the Jets. But there were some books that had them at 9.5, so that's kind of like, I think they could probably win 8 or 9. I don't think they're a terrible team or anything like that, but for them to get to 11, playing the Bills twice, playing the Dolphins twice, and playing in the AFC, and really not knowing what we get with a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I got under for the Jets.
All right. So Brian, mine, I do have Browns, and I have one other. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the Browns are plus 145 to make the playoffs. I think they're making the playoffs. I'm going to take that bet. All right.
Nice.
The other one is the easiest one, 8.5 wins. Brian, I got to take the over. Even if they get 9 wins, I think they can get 9 wins at least.
Do you know what the odds were for them to go over? Honestly, I don't know either, but
I think it was plus 135 for them to go over.
Okay, so the under would be where most of the people are taking the under.
Yeah, so it was like minus 115 for the under.
Shoot, that might not be a bad bet. Maybe I should actually cash in on that one.
All
be
right.
a plus money for 9 wins.
Now, I do have 2 honorable mentions that I'm just going to have fun with, Bri.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went off DraftKings. So DraftKings right now, $5 holla for Deshaun Watson to get the comeback player of the year is plus 4,000.
Sure. So what would that yield you in return?
That'd be 200.
That's somebody who's terrible in math.
2,000? Be 2,000, right?
No, I don't think a $5 bet be
250. 200?
Well, I think $1 gets you $40. So 200.
200. Not a bad little $5 bet.
Still not bad. Yeah.
All right, and then my number 1 tonight, and I'm going to say this because this has been my number 1 for like the last year. Anytime you can get a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown, take it and take it to the bank. That guy does nothing but get touchdowns. And Bri, I have won so many bets of just an anytime touchdown with Christian McCaffrey. Even on a bye week, he gets a touchdown. I didn't know that could happen, but I won on a bye week with him with getting a touchdown. That is like, it feels like it's the easiest money, just an anytime touchdown with Christian McCaffrey. I think he did it 16 out of the 17 games, or no, 15 out of the 17 games last year. Like, unreal amount. Now, I do have a fun little trivia for you.
Sure.
There are 2 players right now that are plus 30,000 to win MVP and the Super Bowl.
Win MVP and the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Why don't you tell me? I'll say Bryce Young and Daniel Jones.
How about Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield?
Oh, okay. That would be, yeah, I would say that would probably be pretty difficult for you to win both. But hey, crazier things have happened. I'd take the Deshaun bets there just because, we still haven't seen it. Maybe he catches lightning in a bottle. I feel like Baker's kind of been pretty steady his whole career. I don't know if he's got the ceiling that Deshaun does.
All right, well, let's finish our show so we can watch the game here. Bacardi is our dog of the week from City Dogs Cleveland. Please go adopt and help out Bacardi and help out City Dogs Cleveland. Bri, what was that trivia question?
So the last team to come close to a three-peat was the Patriots. They won 02, 04, 05. So who was the team that won in 03?
Was it the New York Giants? Was that the Eli one?
No. Eli wasn't drafted till 03.
Who won it in between them?
I'll give you another guess.
Was it
think of where you were in 2002. Were you early 20s?
Very early 20s, Bri.
Yeah.
I don't remember those days, bud. I'm not gonna lie.
Boy.
Was that the Tampa Bay year?
John Gruden. There you go. John Gruden.
John Gruden with
beating Oakland
with the Johnson. Which
Johnson? Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson.
Uh-huh.
That was the one that broke it up.
Yeah. That was the one. The one. They were good. They had a good season. Their defense was unbelievable. Man.
Oh God,
one of the best ever.
Warren Sapp in the middle. I mean, that guy would just fucking eat anything.
John Lynch, Derek Brooks, Hardy Nickerson. I mean, they were.
Didn't Derek Brooks get 2 touchdowns? Didn't he win the MVP of that game?
That I don't know. I can't say for sure.
I think Derek Brooks did because I think he had like a pick 6.
Somebody have to fact check that. Maybe Craig can do that.
All right, we'll figure that out later. But I'm pretty sure, man, that was a good one.
I think Keyshawn might have been on that team too.
Oh, of course, Keyshawn was on that team. Keyshawn's on every team. Doesn't matter if he's playing on it or not. He's on that team. All right, Bri. God bless him. Let's get out of here so we'll watch some NFL tonight, brother.
Yeah, buddy. God bless you. God bless America. Go Browns.
All right. I want to thank our troops and first responders for everything they do. Harold Kehoe, City Dogs Cleveland, Network 216. Thank you all. And we will see you next Thursday, hopefully, with a Browns victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Have a good week. Enjoy the NFL. See ya.